So the regular board meeting will be recorded and uploaded to our district website. The definitive documentation and decisions of the board are documented in our meeting minutes. Any use of electronic devices such as computers or cell phones during the meeting is related to the business of the meeting, and the core values that guide the work of the school district are respect, compassion, honesty, responsibility, and relationships. So we'll call our meeting to order at 5:33. And acknowledge that today's board meeting is being held within the traditional territory of the Denizah and Treaty 8. And we'll start by asking if there's any additions to the agenda. Could I have a mover and a seconder for the agenda, please? Moved by Bill, seconded by David. All in favor? Thank you. We don't have a presentation or a delegation tonight. So we're looking at trustee engagement and celebrations, and we'll start with trustee Campbell, please.
Yeah, I went to the committee of the whole at Robert Ogilvie, and Brooke was our little tour guide that gave us a tour of the school, and we did hear how she liked notebooks, pens, and treats. So I made her a basket, and I took it into her, and she gave me a hug, and she said, share it with everyone that was there.
Oh, nice.
She really enjoyed us, and I told her to keep her school spirit up and her personality, that we loved it. And then I went to the two finance meetings, and that's all I've done so far.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair Gillis.
I also was at the committee of the whole meeting at Robert Ogilvie. And tomorrow I'm judging the speech competition at Central School, and I think that might be it.
Thank you. Trustee Lehman.
Yeah, attended the Robert Ogilvie committee of the whole too. Did some speech judging at Clearview and Robert Ogilvie, and no, Brooke was not there. Attended the half of the public consulting meeting, and then the budget deep dive, and sat in on the presentation from the lawyer, Harrison & Co., and just did the podium here with the children and youth in care.
Thank you. All right. Trustees, Scott Moncrief.
Went to the Explore Fest. That was good. I really enjoyed that. We should do more of that. It's just let that creative mind go. I went to the local lawyers meeting with you first. And tomorrow, there's one more that I've got on my notepad that I left at work. And tomorrow I'm going out to judge the chili contest.
Where is that?
Can I touch that too?
Yeah.
Okay. Trustee Snow.
Went to my schools for a visit, and they sit down and chat with them. I went to the Explore Fest. I went to Robert Ogilvie. I came and had a marvelous time listening to Angela's presentation, and made what I could of the presentation with the lawyer, and just showed up and listened to the ministry conversation. I
only have one more thing to
Absolutely.
it should be noted that a lot of commercial support for that. A lot of corporations stepped in and really supported that and made it very valuable for the students and everybody.
I think I just congratulated Brian on the success of it, and it sounded like those corporate sponsors
really
want
good.
to do more and want to do that next year, which is very nice to see. Trustee Witten.
I took part in the lawyers meeting. Fortunately, I wasn't able to make the whole meeting due to my foot. Yeah, other than that, we're busy getting ready for Joint Days coming up shortly.
Great. I got to help Marshall at the girls' badminton tournament. I did the singles night. And I'm busy supporting Baldonald Finch and Mom Murray with their Welcome to K stuff, and have started to do some Ready, Set, Learn. I did one at Baldonald and I'm at Baldonald again tomorrow. Labor management meeting and health and safety meeting, as well as the Northeast Roundtable meeting. I went to both of the budget things, and I did finally get to a PAC meeting at Finch, because they're always in contact with the table. And probably the neatest thing that I've done since our last board meeting is I went to the ribbon skirt presentation, where they had somebody come in and work with some of the students and produce ribbon skirts and then do a fashion show. So that was quite interesting to see the excitement and the confidence in some of those students strutting across the stage. It's not anything I would ever see myself doing. So, but nice to see. Right, we'll take a look at moving on to number 5 on our agenda now, which is minutes of the regular board meeting of April the 20th, which is pages 6 to 12 in your package. Could I please get a mover and a seconder for those minutes? Moved by Nicole, seconded by Ida. Any errors or omissions? On the question and all in favor? Didn't see any business arising. So we'll move on to item number 6 on our agenda, which is approval of the excerpts of the in-camera board meeting of March the 9th, which is page 13 in your package. Can I please have a mover, a seconder? Moved by Bill, seconded by Thomas. Any errors or omissions? Calling the question in, all in favor? Looking at announcements and reminders now, and there wasn't an Indigenous Education Committee meeting on the 21st of May. It's June 3rd instead. So we need to change the announcements and reminders to reflect that. Sorry, I didn't catch that earlier.
There is no SUPAC DPAC on June 23rd, or there is?
No, there isn't a SUPAC PAC meeting on June 23rd. That should come off of there because they don't meet in June.
June 12th is the elementary softball tournament. I've been asked to umpire there.
Where is it, Bill?
It's Solaris, and I believe Alan Hollins.
Not necessarily something to go on here, but just so everybody's aware, June 12th is the grand opening, Noche Commons across from Palmer.
Thank you for sharing that. Right. Moving on then to senior staff reports.
Right. Looks like we've teleported ahead in time, and the activity report for HR will catch up to us at the June board meeting. So it's blank right now because it's for May 15th to June 11th, but we'll include the previous information at the next report. Item number 1 under education is my online report, which I'll review shortly. Number 2 is an information item of the Ombudsman quarterly report related to our school district. And I'd like to ask for items 3 and 4 to be taken out for separately as for motions. That's my report.
Are you gonna do your online?
Yeah, do you motion to accept?
We usually do that after you've done your online.
Oh, okay.
Testing.
Yes, that's right.
How we doing? You good?
I'm all discombobulated.
I thought it was
now.
before.
Yeah.
We pull the motions out for
We
the
pull
other.
the motions. I thought we did it after with the exception of the motions. It doesn't matter. We can do it.
Okay, I'll go. Okay, under student learning, intellectual development, really neat activity across several elementary schools or classes in terms of the Frogger problem they call it. And so this is related to the Thinking Classrooms initiatives that you've heard about before, right? It started in middle school, students working in small groups at a board or outside in this case in different scenarios. And so that it was very successful, and they were able to gather data and assessments from that particular problem, and collectively they looked at the rubrics, marked it together. So that was a good success. And then just noting here some of the commitments from the board strategic plan and how that activity is related to it directly. On the same theme here, early learning, just opportunities for parents to help their children prepare for kindergarten. Our early learning team does an amazing job of offering these specific kind of practice type scenarios for kids, see what it's like. And also just a QR code here of the Early Learning Hub, which is all things early learning for parents. So it's included here for the public and media. If you want to find more about early learning, you can click on that QR code. Under student learning, human and social development, just the latest newsletter from Cameron Lake. Bookings are going well for the fall. There's a new challenge course, if you read in through there, that's now being set up. That was sponsored by a couple of different companies. Can't think of them right now at the moment. But it's a fantastic course, and so we're looking forward to the students being able to experience that out in nature. In fact, Clearview, I believe, is there for the next 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday out at Cameron Lake. Also, Canadian Mental Health Week was previously in terms of our social and emotional well-being. I wanted to celebrate that. And I included the host families information here under human and social development because it is actually quite a neat experience for families and their kids to host international students. In this case, it's for high school. I don't. What are you talking about? Yeah, I don't need to convince Trustee David here, but we are looking for more because we have a higher number coming in the fall. And so want to get the word out. It doesn't include it in the poster here, but there is an appropriate monthly stipend that is included for the families. And so if just contact Mr. Campbell at the school district to find out what that stipend is. Also, just want to profile the beginning of the running season for our elementary schools. This is also getting outside. Physical literacy is really important for mental health as well. We know they're connected. And so really grateful for the leadership around the district to keep offering these different sports, whether it's the softball or the badminton or the running. And so that continues to proceed in all of our schools. And so there's some results here of the first run, and that will continue for the next few weeks. And some information on summer camps. So early learning does not stop end of June. So it goes pretty much 12 months. And so our team is preparing for those camps. Taking place at Bert Ambers this year. And please visit there for more information, which is great. Undercurrent skill development. Again, I don't have to convince Trustee David that this is a good thing. Adventures in Healthcare. Another big success here in April, and we often combine with SD59 in terms of a cohort of youth that get experience in the different health services. That Trustee Nicole would also be in favor of types of initiatives for healthcare, ancillary type services. It was also mentioned Explore Fest, so I visited there as well. And Explore Fest is interesting. It was Mr. Campbell, Mr. Pete, and I think Mr. Bennett, who went down about 7 years ago to San Diego. Yourself too?
No, Mr. Bennett, no.
Yeah. And they visited makerspaces. They visited a particular program in schools around, what is a makerspace? Why are schools using it? What is this hands-on kind of spaces that people are talking about? Came back and led to what we now have in a lot of our schools of these makerspaces, but also specifically Explore Fest. This is the biggest Explore Fest I've ever seen in terms of equipment, participation by industry. The one end that I was down there with PIMS Production and a few others, they're now talking about coordinating kind of the chronological process, for example, of gas and oil extraction in a kind of in a way that makes sense for the students to circulate and see from all the different stages in order how to do it. So the industry is starting to talk to each other. The amount of equipment that we had out there was incredible. And of course, our first responders, those types of stations are very popular. And it is a massive, amount of planning and organization. But then what supports this is the type of activities that you've seen, for example, at ARCO, in terms of the different units and modules and kits that go out to schools throughout the school year and the EDST teaching that the teachers do. So it's not just a one and done. Under people development, I'm working with the school principals and vice principals, looking at what's called the spirit of leadership. It's kind of the guidelines around senior leadership in British Columbia under BCSSA. And so we had another unit last DLTM on alignment, and our last one in June is actually going to be on stewardship for future of all children. So our school leaders continue to take professional development and learning through our leadership team meetings. It was mentioned around the Ribbon Skirt Showcase for Truth and Reconciliation. That was, in fact, a really fun evening. Great music, and nice to see a lot of kids come out of their shell. And for those who were able to attend the Indigenous Day on May 8th, Nigan Sinclair and Kevin Lemura, a fair bit of sitting, but it was fantastic speeches, talks, information, and perspectives that were shared. And it was nice to celebrate also Kai Jansen, and I'll reiterate it here, just in terms of her role over the last several years in the district and how she's brought a lot of things like this together.
I forgot to mention earlier, I did go to that, and they were both very good public speakers.
Yeah, they sure were. Very inspiring. And then for trustees and public, just to take through some celebrations around the district. So Val Donnell, helping the local Women's Resources Society, food drive. And they were very successful there. The annual Robert Ogilvie Art Show. Neat to see the kids using a variety of different items. Sometimes recycle is the theme there. And finally, so it's quite a write up here to read through. And then, you know, it's interesting, the gentleman that we have to come do our songwriting and poetry writing, Rick Leaf, he works with a residency with the school for a week. They write a song together at the entire school. His 2 kids are professional dodgeball players. Yeah. And so they came and had a bit of a residency at our secondary and middle schools, and the kids absolutely loved it. And they took the kids through, and it's a very popular sport, as you know, but it was interesting for the kids to hear about it from a more organized perspective in terms of teams and future opportunities. That was my online report. And then there were the ombudsman information piece and the other 2 for breakout.
Okay, so can I have a mover and seconder for Stephen's report? Moved by David, seconded by Bill. Any further discussion related to what we've heard so far? All right, on question then, all in favor? Moving on then, let's take a look at school charges. All of that information is there in the package. The mover and seconder related to the approving the school charges for 2026, 2027 as presented, moved by Ida, seconded by Madeline. Discussion? All right, question then, all in favor? Okay. Out of district field trips now. Could I please have someone make the motion that we accept the out of district field trips as presented? Moved by Thomas, seconded by Nicole.
I can just add on that, please note the international field trip, and that was prepared in collaboration with our district principal, Brian Campbell, and the teacher at Presbyterian to ensure all the steps are taken, that it's curricular, that it's safe, it's planned well in advance. Those kinds of, we're satisfied that it meets those criteria.
Any further discussion? Calling the question then, all in favor?
Thank you.
And then just go back, it has nothing to do with motions on the ombudsperson quarterly report.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it is useful, or is it just another reporting?
No, I sort of kind of thought one day this report is coming to me and never really contains a lot of information, but then I felt a bit of a sense of responsibility to bring it forward. But I've never actually seen any files that involve our district so far. So it's a for information piece, and maybe the time will come where there is a report to discuss.
Well, and just to add to that, they sent a report to Ida as board chair, and I had looked at it and forgot to add it to the agenda, but I got exactly the same information. So it does give you an idea of what people are going to the ombudsman about, but there's nothing district specific.
And it is something, for example, the superintendent could just circulate by email when it comes out to be evidence.
But over the years, we have had 1 or 2 in our district, so it comes all the time.
All
Okay.
right, thank you.
Need to discombobulate you.
No, that's okay.
All right. Moving on, Angela.
Thank you. For my report, I have a finance update to April 30th, 2026. The 2026-27 proposed annual facility grant. A motion that I need passed for a recommended motion for capital plan for childcare capital program. HR summary from April 17th to May 13th, 2026. And then I'm asking for a motion to appoint the chief elections officer, deputy chief elections officer. And that is.
Right. Can I get a mover and seconder? I can explain what happened. Moved by Ida, seconded by Thomas. Okay. Discussion. Let's go through. Capital plan, childcare, capital program. We'll need a separate motion, but can you talk a little bit more about that, please, and things?
Yeah, so the ministry opened up a really short window for us to put spaces into existing, not to put childcare into the school. So they've offered up to $6,000 per student to outfit an existing room in a building. So we applied for Bert Ambrose as we have a wait list at that site currently. And so we were proposing 24 spaces. Now, the money we asked for is not $6,000 per space we're created. We're proposing approximately $12,000 in costs. And that was due on Friday, so I could bring it forward for motion prior to that, but they are happy to take them after the fact. The other thing that's interesting with this one is that the operating costs, like, so they're covering furniture and larger items for the space, but the operational items such as toy, training, anything we need to get the program off the ground will be done separately.
They're paying for that.
They're paying for that, but
Right.
a different
Different fund. Okay. A different bucket.
a different.
So where is it going at Ambrose? Is it gonna be a standalone room?
It's we're using a multi-use space, so it's currently it's housing Indigenous education, and then at before and after school it will house the before and after school.
So,
That's
pardon?
Is that down by the library? Or?
It's not taking shared space. It's a multi-purpose. That's what we're trying not to do, is go into specific grade classrooms. So it's already a multi-use space in the school.
So if you're saying, you said there's 6,000 per,
Up to 6.
up to 6,000, so that's the 24 times technically.
Mhm.
You're asking for 12. But the rest can still be, like you said, training
And that will come through a separate fund. I'm not sure. They couldn't quite tell me which fund it was coming from, but just that I would receive a call.
A little vague.
Well, yeah, and the dollars are I think we calculated about 6,000 to get the total.
So there'll be two spaces. One belongs to China.
There's the portables and then inside the building.
Right. Calling the question on that, all in favor? Let's go back to the financial report. Are there any questions related to the financial report up until the end of April? deal. There's no questions for Angela on the financial report. We will move on to we need a motion to appoint Wanda as the chief election officer and Angela as the deputy chief election officer. Moved by David, seconded by Thomas. All in favor? Thank you.
Did we get a motion for the capital plan?
Nope, we're going back
Oh, sorry.
right now. Because we started to talk about it, and it's all kind of munched together, so. All right, let's go back and look at the capital plan. You didn't get a motion. No, you need a motion. So in your package, you have the capital plan. So could I please get a motion to either in a seconder for the capital plan? Moved by Madeline, seconded by Ida. Discussion.
So on the fine.
Oh, hey, our AFG you're talking about? So this is,
Oh, yeah.
we're on the burnout, but I kind of talk about Are we on the Bird Amber still? Or did we move to
I think we've moved to AFG.
Okay, so do we need an all in favor then for the, an all in favor for the motion? For the,
Yeah, I was just waiting to see if there was any questions related to the capital plan, and Madeline had one related to Upper Pine.
that's
About
on
the AFG.
Well, that's on the AFG, okay. All right, calling the question then, all in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Is the AFG later?
No,
No,
that's part of
it's,
the.
it's about the, was right after the finance.
All right, let's take a look at the annual facilities grant fee. Can I get a mover and a seconder related to the annual facilities grant, please? Moved by Madeline, seconded by Nicole. Discussion now.
I'll ask my Upper Pine question here. So are you replacing the cistern with a cistern?
Just moving it out.
The building.
Hmm?
It's under the building.
That's on the-
Clearview.
having some
I think Clearview is under building.
Any other questions related to the FG?
Just one, the top one about Bell Donald. One skylight? Is it, like, how big is this skylight? 34,000.
But it's getting re-roofed. So
Oh,
the,
getting re-roofed as well.
the area around it is getting,
It must be a big skylight.
the roof, the damage to the roof of the skylight there. Yeah. It's not just the skylights coming out, but they have to
Yeah.
replace the roof. I think it's in, no. in- Down the hall. I know it seems like a big bill, but we just retired something at North Peace and that was, it's not necessarily the skylight, it's the construction and the re-roofing. But I appreciate where you're.
Well, I just was trying to picture if it was several skylights or what, but
Skylight and then roof, I should have put roof repair.
So no, just because I do live in the community and I did attend that,
The deck.
the AGM out at the arena. Is that the aeration for the school or is it over at the arena?
I can get back to you on that. I thought that they might, I feel like they're connected, but I'll verify that.
It has its own and I know it was an issue. So I'm just curious because I may get asked questions.
And so this is work for next year.
Yes, and this is the proposed expenditure plan, like it can change as things. So it's not, written in stone, it's
Not starting
a
in
live document.
6 weeks.
Yep.
All right, calling the question now. All in favor?
Thank you.
Anything else to do?
Nope, covered it. Sorry for the confusion.
No. Okay. Moving on to item number 9 on our agenda, report to the regular committee of the whole meeting of May the 4th, which is page 16 to 17 in your package. Moved by Nicole, seconded by David. Any errors or omissions?
did you second it?
You guys like that?
I'll second it.
I will second it. Thank you. I forgot he was there. Okay. So Nicole and Ida. And calling the question then, all in favor? Business arising from the minutes? We have the meeting schedule for 26, 27. We did have to do there's a little bit of juggling that's been done on it, if you want to take a look. Okay, so, we have left a tentative meeting for August 24th on, as a regular board meeting, just because things may come up and we need to do that. There are some places where there is, some compression, and we looked at that. We looked at the dates, that work for Angela and even, and that's resulted in some of the compression, but she still has the budget dates. These meeting dates don't work great for her, but it's what we could do. So on this, are there any other comments? Great. Could we please get a mover and seconder for the proposed calendar, meeting scheduled for 26-27? Moved by Thomas, seconded by Madeline. All in favor? And then you see the proposed policy committee date. Employment.
We did talk about the schedule here. That could be tentative, right?
For the policy committee?
I mean, the whole schedule, like the schedule itself. Depend. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Come October,
we-
everybody could go, we want to meet on Tuesdays.
yeah,
It's another process to.
Yeah.
there would have to be another process.
At least we're leaving it for something.
These dates are given to them prior to running, so they will have knowledge of the dates as they're running, but they can be adjusted later.
When they drop off the package, when they drop off the
Yeah.
package, yeah.
All right. So the District Health and Safety Committee Policy 5007 went out for notice of motion. Was there any feedback on it? All right. Could I please get a seconder for that? That the Board of Education issue a notice of motion for the adoption of Policy 5007 District Health and Safety Committee. Seconded by Nicole. Calling the question. All in favor? Carried. All right. I don't believe we have anything to report at this time from the Education Council. Other reports, Trustee Snow, for BCSTA.
Good.
Okay, Trustee Lehman.
The CSD AGM, that new one that was voted on in February, is June 15th. It is a Zoom meeting, and I think I'm gonna have to look at Nicole if she could attend that one, because I cannot. It's a Zoom meeting. I think it'll be
It's only an hour, isn't it?
scheduled for an hour. I doubt it's even gonna be enough.
So that's BCPC?
Yes.
So I would now be in conflict. For sure, both my daughters are BCGEU now.
Who's a rep?
I think
First and second.
I was second because they weren't hired then. And I was the only one, I think it was the only other choice. But now they've both been hired on with BCGEU in the summer.
I do not have an existing conflict other than my mom.
Which is a conflict.
Yeah, to an extent, it was the yellow zone, but I won't be able to come anyway, so.
It's just a matter who's in the least.
Pardon?
I could,
Okay.
But you have to be registered by June 8th, I believe, and it is gonna be voting, so it's gonna be voting during that.
So we have a conflict, do we need to?
Well, like my conflict ends, it's a seasonal position, so it ends in September.
Yeah, but I believe it's like BCPC has knowledge of the rep and the alternate.
Yeah, then all we have to do is let BCPC know that we've changed the alternate rep to David.
We elected alternate.
if I can help, let me know. values beyond.
Can I suggest we kind of take that away and then?
Yeah.
Because it may or may not be an issue for this
Yeah.
specific nature of this meeting in terms.
Yeah, it is not, and
It's not.
the big.
It's not a big meeting, it's a 1 hour meeting to pass the budget, and if we didn't have somebody there,
So there's 60 other reps, or we can check, staff can check in.
okay, and Pro Day, we just did the child and youth in care. I don't have anything under correspondence. And under unfinished business, I attended a Northeast Roundtable meeting. And you can see that what I attached to the package, that Cameron Lake may be looked at for surveying this summer with the idea that they would try and move forward in the next year to year and a half. But it sort of sounded like they're quite short-staffed, and that would be their proposed timeline, but it might not happen. The new pieces, they're looking at having surveying done in the summertime. So what's going on? Didn't answer any questions, but I just included the key things from the meeting in your passage. Right. Moving on to item number 14. We're looking at the preliminary annual budget. Is it bad we're doing all three? We're going to do 2 readings tonight. Just do it. All right.
New turn.
Pardon?
Okay.
Well, did Sean Thomas reach out to you? He was worried about space for us in Buick.
I think it's all resolved.
No problem, yeah, we figured it out. Yeah, do that, check. Thank you.
Okay, so tonight I'm presenting the preliminary annual budget for 26-27. Agenda is what we'll go over. These components are on the preliminary annual budget. So that was submitted for approval. Okay. So the preliminary projection for enrollment is an overall decrease of 1.688 FTE. This is made up of a decrease of 30.75 in brick and mortar schools, offset by increase in enrollment in online learning. So the overall decrease is 20.688 FTE. Here is how this shakes out in overall funding. So the overall increase at the end is 194,420. That just has to do with, you can see at the top, the enrollment base is down by 191, but it's offset by unique geographic factors and special ed, which is not quite a targeted fund, but the way we treat it within our district is that approximately 80 to 85 goes out to school directly to support students. Something to note here is that these numbers are based on the increase per student funding. So it's all, if you look at 25-26, the per student funding allocation is the same. So the overall increase to revenue, this revenue is 283,432 from the amended budget. So we're just, how we do budgeting is we just compare to the previous year and take the expenses and see where we need to make adjustments. What we know is going to be happening in the next year through meetings with the various departments in the district and feedback from our budget survey. No surprise, the majority of our funding comes from the Ministry of Education and Childcare at 96.42%. Budget highlights. So this year we have an addition of 1.5 FTE for resource teachers. There are various adjustments and just in recognition of staffing circumstances that we know at this time. We use at this time, we don't know if there's any increases or decreases to divisions, so we maintain the same FTE for teachers of working order schools. We are seeing another round of increases to benefits due to the rising cost of extended health and dental care. We are, again, this year providing targeted training for the following groups: EAs, learning assistants, and resource teachers. All ratios for teacher time, for counselor time, CERT, librarian, learning assistants are considered as understood. So that means that there was some things that came out in teacher bargaining, but we're not sure how that shakes up. So we're currently using the same ratios. Learning support model funds allocated to schools again this year. Budget includes replenishing of technology. We have just a replacement cycle that we go through every year. And one of the larger items this year was the recognition of fuel cost increases expected to continue through spring 2027. So, if we do a comparison between the two, we can see that there is a notable increase to transportation. The fuel, we had discussed the increase in fuel costs at the different preliminary budget presentation as well as the deep dive. And then it turned out there was a component that we hadn't accounted for, which was the bulk sales. So that caused an even further increase to fuel. Now, hopefully everything gets figured out, but everything we understand is even we're not going to see a decrease in the coming year. So we've budgeted for that, and hopefully it shakes out differently. The fuel is diesel. The average we're expected to see is roughly $2.10 per liter. From this, we can see it's pretty consistent. 80% is going to instruction. There's a slight decrease in district administration for the upcoming year. operations and maintenance is going up. That accounts for some staffing changes that occurred within that department, as well as the fuel affects them as well as an increase to utilities is captured in operations and maintenance. So we're seeing just an overall increase in salaries. We are continuing with the numeracy and literacy initiatives, as well as some additional supports in schools from a district level. Benefits, you can see the increase that we're expecting there. And services and supplies is down, but if you compared it to the preliminary budget that was done for 25-26, we start with the base, and then once the numbers shake out, once we know our final numbers, then the surplus, additional surplus gets allocated out. Pretty consistent, 86% goes to salaries and benefits within the district. This represents the heavy reliance we have on staff. The HR capacity is definitely needed in our district for recruitment. So there is, we are budgeting surplus, as you know, might have noted in the finance report to the end of April. We are expecting more spending, but there is a projected surplus coming our way at the end of the 25-26 year that we can roll over into during operations are steady, and we're not cutting programs for 26-27. So we anticipate spending approximately $759,600 of surplus. This is Schedule 3, the special purpose funds. So the special purpose funds are targeted funds that have very specific items that they can be used for. New fund for 26-27 is highlighted there. It's the Child Care Pilot Transition Funding. It's for $86,982. Now it's not really new because it replaces the funding we previously got for Seamless K and before Care Preschool. And that those current funds were $55,000 and $50,000, but just to continue on with those initiatives, they've given us funding that was supposed to go away this year in this form. So this is the budget bylaw statement 2. The budget bylaw for the 26-27 year is $107,755,178. And that is largely made up of operating expenses. And that is.
You're welcome.
What's that?
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for all of your work on this.
Thanks.
All right. Any questions? There's actually been lots of opportunity to ask questions. That penny thing up there, I was trying to remember which one's it?
Any budget?
Yeah.
Copper or the
Oh, Project Penny, that's the void,
Oh,
the replacement. So it's called Project Penny because it's replacing copper line.
okay. I was sitting there, I think I should know what this is, but that's for it.
I've never seen one in my life.
Okay.
Quick question. And I don't need specifics on who, but do we have a specific contract with fuel? Like one company that we go to, or is it?
We have a few different, depending on the areas that we're in, but we haven't had one major.
And when was the last time we kind of reviewed that to see if there's potential discounts available?
I think the transportation is in contact with them just to talk about best practice. I think the last time we talked to them was,
I'm off that board. Don't look at me.
I'm just trying to think, maybe a year or two ago, and there was an offer there. Madeline did make a great comment around using the purple fuel, colored fuel. Yeah. So an advocacy piece, right? And I'll see where we can get to, because that would be a huge cost.
And Tom, it's crazy because they do, the pricing changes weekly, actually twice a week. I know that for ourselves. So depending on when you put your order in, and they charge you when it's delivered. If you're unlucky, it's a day late and you're paying 10 cents more a liter. Or if you're lucky, you get it on the day delivery, where that's how volatile it is right now.
But that's
Yeah.
what's
No,
supposed to be for far enough.
Well, it doesn't have to be.
Supposed to be.
I know that's what the advocacy piece would be for us.
They would extend
Yeah.
use to school buses.
Let's keep.
Yeah, we said we should advocate because it's government to government.
I agree.
Fuel run for it.
Price was substantially less.
$1.89 right now.
$1.89? Oh, diesel.
Versus at $2.10.
Right. We'll proceed with the first reading of the annual budget bylaw. Bylaw of the Board of Education of School District number 60, Peaceville, North, by the board to adopt the annual budget of the board for the fiscal year 2026-2027 pursuant to section 113 of the School Act, RCBC 1996, C412, as amended from time to time called the Act. The board has complied with the provisions of the Act, ministerial orders, and Ministry of Education and Child Care policies respecting the annual budget adopted by this bylaw. This bylaw may be cited as School District number 60, Peace River North Annual Budget Bylaw for the fiscal year 2026-2027. The attached statement 2 showing the estimated revenue and expense for the 2026-2027 fiscal year, and the total budget bylaw amount of $107,755,178 for the 2026-2027 fiscal year was prepared in accordance with the Act. Statement 2, 4, and Schedules 2 to 4 are adopted as the annual budget of the board for the fiscal year 2026-27. We're at a first time today. So could I please have a mover and a seconder for that first reading budget? Moved by Bill, seconded by Thomas. All in favor? Great. Could I please get a motion that the second reading of the annual budget bylaw for 26-27 be done in short form? Moved by David, seconded by Ida. This is the second reading of the annual budget bylaw. It's a bylaw of the Board of Education of School District 60 for the North. After this, it's called the annual budget of the board for the year 26-27. And in preparing this budget, all of ministerial orders and policies have been honored. The bylaw will be cited as our annual budget bylaw for fiscal year 26-27. And we are looking at a budget bylaw that has us spending $107,755,178. And statement 2, 4 and schedule 2 to 4 will be adopted as our annual budget. Could I get a mover and seconder for the second reading? Moved by Ida, seconded by Bill. All in favor? All right, that's done, done.
Thank you.
I don't think there is anything under new business. And we don't have PRNTA, QP, or DPAC here. So it's time for questions from the press and public. And Ruth doesn't have any questions for us. So could I please get a motion to suspend the regular meeting and move into in camera? Moved by Bill, seconded by Thomas. All in favor? Wanda, stop the recording, please. And that the in-camera motions be brought forward for implementation. Ida and David. All in favor? Thank you. Now adjournment. Bill, Nicole. All in favor? Excuse. I want to. If it's one to do.
End recording.